All the best over there. Cedric Layton, we thank you for your time. Here's Koshi.
The family of an Indigenous teenager forcefully arrested by New South Wales Police has called for charges to be laid against the officer involved. The boy's father, mother and sister have spoken out, angry about the 16-year-old's treatment. This is the video that shows the boy's feet being kicked out from under him after he'd allegedly threatened the police officer.
The use of excessive force used upon him is unnecessary and irresponsible.
As his mum, I feel afraid of the whole process. I'm still in shock, really, and I never want to say that.
The boy was treated for minor injuries and released without charge. The police officer has been placed on restrictive duties pending investigation. The family also wants the other officers at the scene investigated. For her perspective, we're joined now by Federal Shadow Minister for Indigenous Australians, Linda Burney. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning, David.
What was your reaction when you saw the video?
Well, I think my reaction was the reaction that most people would have, looking at the power imbalance or balance at the scene, and understanding that the police that we saw with that young boy is not appropriate. And I note that the family are talking about legal action, so I don't want to make too much more comment. I think the most important thing, David, with your show and with people making public comments, is to talk about constructive ways to rebalance the relationship between Aboriginal communities, Aboriginal people, Aboriginal young people and the police.
OK, the New South Wales Aboriginal Legal Service says this is not an isolated incident and that there's systemic racism and mistreatment. Would you agree with that?
I think there have been some remarkable efforts between Aboriginal communities, Aboriginal organisations and police command to overcome a terrible history of police and Aboriginal people. I mean, people need to understand that it was actually the police, whether they wanted to or not, that were the main instrumentality in the forced removal of Aboriginal children. And most Aboriginal families can relate stories of overzealous policing with their young people. But as I say, David, the most important thing is to use this as an opportunity to examine what hasn't happened in terms of the implementation of the Royal Commission's recommendations some 30 years ago, and to also work constructively between governments, the community and the police force, including the police union, to address some of these issues.
OK. Linda Burney, thanks for joining us. Now,
thank you.
Australia is in recession for the first time in almost 30 years. New figures show GDP fell